Good evening, everyone. Welcome to GardenStateWeather.com and GardenStateWeather.blogspot.com, providing superior forecasting for the northern mid-Atlantic 24 hours a day. I'm meteorologist Robert Smith, and this is the weekend edition of our public video forecast discussion. And of course, we're going to be talking about this picture tomorrow as leaves are going to continue to come down, and these are the oaks, the last to go down this year. Still a lot of them on the trees, and also as a result of this, it's going to, with the rain coming in for tonight and tomorrow morning into tomorrow afternoon, it's going to clog some drains up and make a mess out there. A lot of acorns already coming down, and there's that correlation that often comes to mind about the oak trees giving off some of the impressive acorns and what the winter season will be like. But nonetheless, tomorrow, as you walk outside, it's going to be raining, and of course, lots of leaves falling from the trees. And this is the video forecast discussion for this Saturday night, the 23rd of November 2019, just heading into the week ahead, Thanksgiving. It's late this week, and of course yesterday, before we get into the video, yesterday was the anniversary of last year's surprise snow. Caught a lot of people off guard in the New York, Philadelphia metropolitan area. People reporting all kinds of things. It took me 5 hours to get home for a 20-minute drive, and it took a lot of other people about 10 to 11 hours. So, snow is not far off in our forecast, and, we're not going to talk about that in this video tonight, but certainly we're going to talk about the impressive amount of rain still coming for tomorrow. Start off with some observations this evening. As about 5:30, the charts here showing low pressure here over Kentucky and a cold front, and then a warm front here, and our secondary area of low pressure developing off of the North Carolina coast this evening, and high pressure exiting off of the New Jersey coast. So we've got a lot of lifting already going on here and rain breaking out. Now, by this evening, well, we'll forecast this, so move this forward here. By this evening at around 8 o'clock, we'll find some light rain getting north into Philadelphia, some moderate rain getting into Philadelphia, central Pennsylvania, and of course portions of the Ohio River Valley here into the Appalachians of the Carolinas and Virginia and Maryland. So it's going to be raining pretty good in these areas. Lighter rains getting into northeastern New Jersey. Even see a little bit of slight icing here on the northern fringe here across northern Pennsylvania, and some over the interior here of these mountain ranges here. And as we move forward through tomorrow morning, just after midnight, large amount of isentropic lift over a colder surface here. So we're looking at some areas where there is some ice involved, some freezing rain here over the Poconos, maybe perhaps extreme higher elevations of northwestern New Jersey, lower Hudson Valley, interior portions here. And in the blues, it's going to start out as a little bit of snow here across Massachusetts and upstate, central, upstate, eastern New York and New Hampshire and Vermont as well. Here comes the surface low that will amalgamate with the previous low here, and that will be over the Virginia tidal waters as we go into the overnight hours, and this low will be strengthening as it moves northeast just off the coastal waters by tomorrow afternoon. Now, by tomorrow morning, we can find one consolidated low pressure area with about a 993 millibar low, and it's going to be providing some moderate to heavy rain, lighter rains down to the south, which initially start overnight tonight. And we've got some icing concerns here with a wintry mix across these areas in the purples and pinks, but mostly rain for the New Jersey, New York, Philadelphia I-95 corridor up to northern New England. And then this system comes occluded, as we can see, as the low pressure system rapidly deepens off of the New England coastal waters by tomorrow afternoon at around 1 or 2 o'clock in the afternoon. On the backside, it's snowing pretty good now through portions of Maine and New Hampshire and Vermont into portions of upstate New York too. There's a wintry mix. And also a secondary trough access coming through here in New Jersey and the mid-Atlantic coastal states by tomorrow afternoon, shutting off the precipitation chances. And that's pretty much it. As we get into the overnight hours here, we've got high pressure beginning to ridge in through the mid-Mississippi River Valley, the Tennessee and Ohio River Valley areas, downsloping flow, trough access, so everything begins to slowly clear out. Pretty impressive snows, though, over the interior mountains here of Maine and also into Vermont and New Hampshire and parts of upstate New York as well. And the Doppler mosaic out of Fort Dix showing the rain rapidly increasing across southeastern and central Pennsylvania, also through the Delmarva area, and trying to get into and probably nearing, if not too very close to, Philadelphia's I-95 corridor, and all of this rain will overspread the region in the next couple of hours. And on the northern fringe, it will be wintry precipitation. Now for the hydrometeor classification, this is where the Doppler radar begins to detect the kind of precipitation. Out ahead of it over Philadelphia and this area here, it's mainly in the form of rain, but already Doppler is seeing some indications of some freezing rain and also some very wet snowflakes as we head into Pennsylvania here, central and northeastern Pennsylvania overnight. So we're going to be monitoring this area as well. Now, this graphic here, which would incorporate the Poconos region up through southeastern New York, through the Hudson River Valley area on the west side here, could be dealing with some ice and some snow at the higher elevations, mainly ice less than 1/10 of an inch, and snow maybe 1 or 2 inches at the highest elevations here overnight tonight into tomorrow morning. And basically all of New Jersey should be mostly rain, but can't exclude portions of the higher elevations of extreme northwestern New Jersey to get in and see some of this freezing precipitation. Not sure if there'll be snowflakes in the air, but there could be some freezing rain, especially as you go up beyond 700 to 800 feet here through northern Sussex County, and also portions of southeastern New York's Hudson River Valley area not included in this watch box. And we'll take a look at the mesoscale now as the area of low pressure at the surface here across, the Ohio and Tennessee River Valley area here. Also seeing that transport where low pressure is starting to develop here off the Carolina coast as well. And we can see this with the observations of all this isentropic lift rain coming in through this area here. Some wet snowflakes here and just, southeasterly winds coming in off the ocean, and a cool, high, dry environment. Here's our high pressure now, well off the coastline now. If we go into, I want to go into the upper air here. I want to go into the surface analysis or near surface analysis. We can see all this warm air advection occurring here in the reds, and our wind directions coming in from the south. So we know that a lot of isentropic lift is occurring in these regions here. So, but we're also over colder surfaces. So if we looked at the surface observations, we can see that, in northern Pennsylvania, northeastern Pennsylvania, especially the Hudson River Valley area, we're marginally cold right now. And as dew points depress a little bit this evening ahead of this, because the air is pretty dry here still in this area with the dew point depression separation here. So some of this precipitation will be frozen as we head into the overnight hours. But for all of New Jersey, the New York City metropolitan area, Philadelphia, the I-95 corridor in specific, which we're forecasting for, it's basically just a rain event. And if we looked at the precipitable water values in the air, that is the amount that the model guidance suggests is not the amount of water that actually reaches the ground. Precipitable water is water vapor. So, I don't know, okay, it's back now. We can find our area of low pressure here over the Ohio River Valley here, and a transfer beginning to take shape off of the North Carolina coast. So this precipitational water values here are going to increase, and right now, it's nothing now in the observations across Pennsylvania, the northern mid-Atlantic, the New York City area, but all of this is going to change in the next couple of hours and into the overnight hours and tomorrow morning, as this rainfall and precipitable water values will be increasing to well beyond an inch. And the low and mid-level water vapor transfer here shows us the wind direction and where the transport of the wind and water vapor will be heading into. So we already know that we're going to be getting some moderate to heavy rain across the region overnight into tomorrow morning. Also want to hone in on a couple of things. When we look at the current charts this evening and the pressure changes over the last 2 hours, we're finding the transfer with our bagginess here in the trough off of the Virginias and North Carolina coast. So what's ever happening here with the primary low, which is still out over the Ohio and Kentucky, Tennessee River Valley area, is already transferring its energy to off the coast, and we can see this by this bagginess in the trough axis here with this open wave developing here off the Carolina coast. So I'm discounting the HRR model guidance tonight, and we'll be using the NAM model guidance going forward. Okay, we're going to start with the NAM model guidance. I think it has a better handle on the evolution of the pattern here. With the surface low, the HRR has it over the interior portions of New Jersey, and its forecast is over the last couple of hours has been incorrect, according to the latest observations that I just showed you. So the NAM model makes the most sense here going forward, and we see this by 8 o'clock tonight where the rain is already heading into the area, and all we have to do is move this forward into the evening hours. Late tonight we find mostly rain overspreading the entire region as the surface low begins to develop off the Virginia Capes here, and then eventually makes its way north and northeast. So lighter rains here, but some freezing here in the Poconos already showing up here. And as we move this forward in time, here comes the overnight hours, midnight, 1 o'clock in the morning. It's lighter rain and some freezing rain here across portions of the Hudson River Valley area and central and southeastern New York State, the Hudson River Valley, across portions of the Poconos here. We could see some freezing rain. Also, the NAM is indicating a little bit of freezing rain here across these areas here in extreme northeastern Sussex County into northeastern New York, and also over extreme northeastern New Jersey. But most of the area should be rain. As we get into the morning hours here, the very early morning hours around 9Z, 3 o'clock, 4 o'clock in the morning, it's all rain, but you can already see the center of the low now at 994 deepening across the Delmarva Peninsula, and all this rain and southeasterly and easterly winds coming in on the backside, all of the freezing precipitation now heading well to the north and east away from the area. And of course, by tomorrow morning, latest model guidance by 12Z has us in a dry slot where the center of the low is now off the mid-Atlantic coast, the Delmarva area, with a secondary batch here just over Monmouth and Ocean County here, and all the precipitation shield heading into the north and east and away from the area as this system begins to occlude very rapidly. And it's shutting off the precipitation very quickly here, but there is a backside to this, and in the calm ahead that the model guidance is showing, where some lingering precipitation over the Poconos would be either freezing rain and some rain, and of course through central and northern Pennsylvania on the backside could be ending as some snow or flakes in the air. Okay, so as we move forward, this storm is going to do good. We're having some problems with the model here, with the screen. So this looks to me to be correct. Storm deepening here, southeast of Long Island, and the winds changing around to the north and west backside. You've got some rain showers here by mid-morning after sunrise here, and already you see the backside where it's changing into snow across portions of the Poconos, and that precipitation will be drying out as the wind flow becomes more northerly and dry air advection begins to build in. But you can see what the model wants to do. It wants to deepen it to 983 off of southeastern Long Island here near Montauk, and all the precipitation with this dry slot could be filling back in with some light rain showers and even some snow here across the Poconos and portions of Pennsylvania, as we head into the afternoon hours, and then everything really just begins to dry out rapidly. We have got a northwesterly flow, mixed stratocumulus clouds and a gusty wind, tight pressure gradient setting up here as we have a 980 millibar low now, approaching, well, Nantucket, actually, by tomorrow afternoon. So the precipitation, and by the way, this is some very, very heavy wet snow occurring across interior southern New England, and that is going to be well noted as well as we go forward in the forecast. And then things just quiet down. Pressure gradient relaxes a little bit by Sunday night and Monday. Look at this. It's impressive. 976. You're going to get used to these kinds of coastal transfers and these kinds of things happening, in deep pressure gradients and thermal gradients setting up. Look where the freezing line is here at 540 now. 540 thicknesses here across southern New England, and not far from our region. And but then we're going to have downsloping winds. So we have northwesterly winds turning westerly as we head into the early part of Monday, and obviously, you know, that's going to keep the thicknesses down. But we've got some mid-level short waves in the flow. Mostly keep freezing line here, 540 thicknesses north and out of our area, and a dry forecast going into Sunday late evening into Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. Probably just to take us out to Tuesday here at this point. So you get the idea here, and a warming trend here with 546 thicknesses here by Tuesday. So moderation, actually, I wouldn't call it warming, but I'd call it moderation. But definitely looking at some wet weather for tomorrow, late tonight, tomorrow. It's ongoing right now. It's developing over the top of us right now. But not so concerned about this storm. I'm concerned about other things going into the future. Okay, we'll take a look at this with the hydro problems. Not really going to see many hydro problems here, but other than clogged drains and things like that, we're not talking about flash flooding or flood concerns. But I do want to look at the National Weather Service's National Digital Forecast Database rainfall coming in for the period overnight and through Monday. We see some pockets of better than 1 inch across Ocean County down through southwestern New Jersey into the Delmarva area here. Some pockets of moderate freezing precipitation and some moderate rainfall. Actually totals about an inch and a half possible in these areas, lesser as you get to the coast because of the transfer of the moisture from one surface low to the other, and all of the isentropic lifting going on through this area here as the storm evolves, and precipitation and colder air actually coming in. So this is where the concentration here of better than 1 inch of rainfall is possible during the next 24 to 30 hours. Since we're using the NAM model guidance, I just wanted to get into the total amount of the NAM-WRF 3-kilometer snowfall totals using a 10-to-1 ratio here. So we can see that there is some snow showing up here, especially across New England and across Maine here and into southeastern Atlantic Canada and Nova Scotia and Labrador. But over interior New York and Vermont, New Hampshire, out into the mountains here in southeastern New York, and also into the Poconos here just west of the Poconos, we've got snowfall coming in. We can see that here on the latest NAM-WRF model guidance here, valid for Tuesday morning, but 60 hours here, so it would take you out. But over the interior here, the Poconos are the highest elevations. We could be dealing with 3, 4, 5, 7, 8 inches of snow in portions of these areas. Very little in the event yet, but you get the setup here because we're building snowpack over so many regions. So if you're on the roads late tonight and tomorrow morning, please drive with care, especially at the higher elevations where precipitation could be partially frozen. And black ice is the very first start of the season because black ice can actually cause the greatest amount of accidents and deaths. So We're going to be monitoring all of this, and we'll be back in video form tomorrow morning, and of course on our social media websites, Facebook, Twitter. We'll be doing all of this for you live tomorrow morning as well. For GardenStateWeather.com, GardenStateWeather.blogspot.com. I'm meteorologist Robert Smith. You have a very safe and happy weekend. And of course, if you're going to the game tomorrow, the Jets game, expect what you expect, actually. Conditions that are not so good, but I can't tell you who's going to win and who's going to lose, but, we'll watch the game nonetheless. Enjoy your evening.